I came into the picture in the late 70s, and I was a legal aid lawyer and was representing low-income people before the Public Utility Commission to try to advocate for lower rates and for investments in renewable resources instead of nuclear power. And what we would find ourselves facing when we got into those hearing rooms was a bank of utility company lawyers, a bank of experts, and there would be me and some little old ladies from the Gray Panthers. And that's the balance of power we had. We had very little impact other than making good headlines and organizing people, which was valuable, but we were totally out of balance.
Saying consumers need an advocate to stop unnecessary increases in utility rates, supporters of a proposed Citizens Utility Board today began a petition drive to get the so-called CUB on Oregon's November ballot. The proposed CUB would be run by and for consumers. Its backers could create the board without voter approval, but they want to be allowed to include information in each utility's monthly billing mail-out. For that, they'll need approval. Supporters say their efforts are necessary because Oregon's Public Utility Commissioner is not working hard enough for consumers. A Citizens Utility Board.
We decided to go the initiative route. We were a small organization. It was a volunteer signature gathering drive, frankly, which was very tough. There were a number of things that were, I think, very interesting about it. One is that the utilities underestimated us. They basically spent much of the spring telling folks, oh, don't worry, they won't make the ballot. But a determined group of young, idealistic staff with a broad coalition of seniors and consumer groups really worked very hard, and suddenly when it came time to file, we had 97,000 signatures.
Now, one group called Oregonians for a Citizens Utility Board staged a celebration on the steps of the state capitol today. They say they've gathered 89,000 signatures for an initiative that would give Oregonians a chance to vote on a citizens board. That board would watchdog the Public Utilities Commission. The board would represent customers of telephone, electric, and gas utilities. Group Chairman Eric Stachon expects opposition.
I think the utilities have a very vested interest in maintaining the current system as it exists. Without consumer representation, they have little opposition in terms of getting the rate increases that they want.
Utilities at that point started to pay a little bit more of attention to us. They hired a slick Los Angeles advertising firm, which was known for beating consumer initiatives, so we were really worried about what they would do. They ran a series of commercials with kind of a goofy-looking guy. We thought maybe they were trying to portray them as a CUB advocate who would like pop out of people in the most obscure locations. And it would end by saying, "It's a boondoggle."
Hi there. Now let's talk politics. You know, I'd like to discuss the proposed Citizen Utility Board, measure number 3 on your November ballot.
I was just reading about that, and I want to ask you some questions. I understand you're going to be charging money to Oregonians.
Well, that's right. Somewhere between $5 and $100 for each person to vote for the board members.
What's the Citizens Utility Board going to do with the money it collects from the public? Well, that's just it. Under this proposal, the Citizens Utility Board can set its own salaries and benefits at whatever level. They could make political contributions, even put money into business deals.
Oh, that's true, but
And get this. They'd be exempt from Oregon's watchdog law that protects against the irresponsible use of public funds.
This Citizens Utility Board sounds to me like a big waste. It's a boondoggle. I'm voting no.
Me too.
Ballot measure 3. Vote no.
War of words has erupted over utility-paid advertisements urging a no vote on ballot measure 3. The measure would create a Citizens Utility Board to represent consumers in utility rate cases. Well, supporters of the measure say the ads are false and misleading, and they're threatening legal action.
Hi there. Let me tell you about the Citizens Utility Board. Ballot measure 3. Now, to vote for board members, you pay a fee from $5 to $100.
Get off my pedal. And tell me, how would they spend that money?
Well, there'd be salaries and other expenses.
And who sets these salaries?
Well, the Citizens Utility Board sets their own salaries and other benefits.
Are there limits?
No, not really.
Sounds like a boondoggle.
I'm voting no.
This and similar ads paid for by the No on 3 committee have become as controversial as the measure itself. The ads paid for by a consortium of large Oregon utilities are being shown frequently on most Oregon radio and TV stations. Supporters of the measure say the ads are deceitful in two respects, that they wrongly portray the proposed Citizens Utility Board as free from public audits, and statements that thousands of Oregonians oppose it. Measure supporter Eric Stachon says the media campaign against 3 has been paid for entirely by big utilities.
Simply put, the utilities are trying to buy this election through deception and misinformation. The attempt by the utilities to hide the fact that they are the sole financial support for No on 3 is nothing less than a massive fraud on the people of Oregon.
They had the money, we had the grassroots support, and we hand-painted lawn signs, we distributed literature door to door, we couldn't afford advertising, but yet we were able to win. I think it was probably one of the largest grassroots campaigns folks had seen against huge odds. And so, you know, in addition to bringing people in, the fact that we were able to beat back the utilities during the course of this campaign really had lasting impacts on utility regulation and the way people viewed Osberg and CUB supporters after that.
Over the last 20 years, I think we've done an awful lot. From the campaign itself was an incredible victory against big odds, being outspent 40-1. Since then, we've done that in each and every rate case, but we've won an awful lot of success. We've saved customers about $3.4 billion. We've changed Oregon from what was talking about investing in nuclear and coal to a real discussion of investing and real money being invested in wind and other renewables. We have a nonprofit organization that spends and invests in energy efficiency on behalf of Oregonians. When the utilities used to do that poorly, we really, I think, have made a real impact on the policies of Oregon, and we've had a real impact on people's pocketbooks over the course of that 20 years, even though in every case, just like the original campaign, we've been outspent, we've been outgunned by the utilities.
We've always enjoyed a very positive working relationship with CUB. We work with them very closely at the Public Utility Commission, at the Legislature on public policy issue affecting electricity, such as working with the Department of Energy, the Energy Trust of Oregon. And it's one of kind of the hallmark of our kind of relationship with CUB is that we always seek out their advice. We always try and partner. Numerous times we file joint briefs with CUB. Enjoy working with our people, good technical skills, good legal skills, excellent legislative skills. So they're very complementary to the work that we do here representing the business customers.
Before I became a utility executive, I was in the intervening business. I did that for about 25 years, and I was in that business when CUB was formed. And I will tell you, this is an amazing organization. They have the legal talent and the financial acumen and the knowledge to get into the details. I mean, they really know what our business is all about, and they really know how to make a very strong case for the residential ratepayer. And I believe we're all better off having a strong voice at the table for the residential ratepayer. And I said that when I was an intervener, and I say that when I'm CEO of Northwest Natural. They make us a better company for doing the hard work, understanding our business, and making sure we're honest.
I don't usually admit this in public, but I wore the bear suit. It was not one of my finest moments. It was definitely not one of my favorite moments. But I was in a place during that campaign where I would do anything for the cause. The CUB campaign was an amazing campaign, and I've worked on a lot of campaigns in the last 20 years. We were very young, and we were very enthusiastic, and we really believed that we could make a difference. So we worked our hearts out, and we're just so committed. I've never seen anything quite like it. I'm really proud of my work on that campaign, and I'm really happy that CUB became an organization. And I am proud about what CUB has done over the last 20 years. It was an organization that was really needed in Oregon. And in another 20 years, I hope that I'll be able to sit here and say that I'm proud of the last 40 years.